We hear multiple angles on the Michael Burham manhunt, from PA State Police to those who caught him originally in South Carolina. And an open house for potential new foster parents is set for later in the month. Plus, we hear from PA State Police and the over $14 million in drugs seized in 3 months.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, the search continues for Michael Burham after he escaped from a Warren County jail Thursday night. Now, police believe that Burham is still in the Warren area and that he may be getting help. They went into no further details on that point. They also said tips are coming in from multiple states, but did not say which ones. Police have received a numerous amount of tips, however, none have panned out so far, though they are using multiple resources and technologies to try to apprehend him. Authorities would also like to say that crime is also occurring. Investigators feel confident that they are on the right track and will eventually catch him. They say that the manhunt is putting heavy pressure on Burham and he will eventually make a mistake, and when he does, police will seize that moment.
We continue to find items. Those lead me to believe that there is still a likelihood that he is here. I also look at the absence of proof that he has gone anywhere else. And again, without telling you all of the factors that go into that, we constantly reevaluate that position. And again, we don't discount tips or leads that take us out of this area or even out of state. We work with our partners to follow up on those.
So you have found items within the last 24 hours?
We have.
Our Facebook. You hear about everything on Facebook.
Anthony Phillips woke up to the news he and his wife never wanted to hear.
Like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. First person I texted was my mama, and I was like, hey, mama, you're not gonna believe this.
The fugitive he once helped catch was back on the loose.
That guy is relentless. I tell you what, he don't give up, does he?
Here is the jail.
Mm-hmm.
He tied together bed sheets and roped down the building.
Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me.
Phillips walked us through when he saw Burham hiding on his property.
His shoes were right here. That's where his shoes were at. He was about right here, and I seen his shorts that said "and" one on them. He was wrapped up with that right there. He took off running. You can still see the tree limbs where they broke from whenever he took off running through there.
He says if Burham comes back, it'll be a different story.
No, you get from one house, you're gonna go to another one, and that person at that house might be more well off than this person as far as ammunition and everything like that goes. They're going to put you down, whether it gets put down over here, there. It's Berkeley County.
Berkeley County Sheriff's Office and Charleston County Sheriff's Office said they are aware of Burham's escape. They say they have no information indicating he would return to the Low Country.
We would, respond with all available personnel and then seek assistance from surrounding agencies like we did, as well as, SLED and the FBI and our partners here in the Low Country.
As for the Phillips, Anthony says they have a plan too.
They apprehended him and took him all the way up north. I mean, he should have just left us down south. I should have done what I should have done. I should have pulled something on him and maybe we wouldn't be dealing with this. We do our little daily exercise and she likes to walk anyway, but you never expect to see nothing like that. Next time, it'll be different because we'll have something on us next time.
Continuing coverage, we're following the escape of a Warren County jail inmate. Police have reviewed data and are taking steps in addressing jail security policies and procedures. After the escape, the prison board and commissioners met to review all available information. Since then, orders have been made to repair the prison's 40-foot by 40-foot roof, surrounded by a cage. In addition, the exercise equipment will be removed and replaced with fixtures that do not provide access to higher positions within the facility. Those fixes are expected to be completed by the end of the week, with several long-term upgrades to be completed within the next few weeks. Currently, the prison is reviewing all procedures related to inmate access and observation, with changes expected. Police urge the importance of the law, stating that prisoners must have access to yard time and outside exercise, saying, quote, "With a facility as small as ours, that is close to full, inmates must be taken to the yard in shifts. That happens all day and evening to ensure all inmates have appropriate yard time," end quote. The commissioners and prison board also commended the jail staff, who did all they could after the escape was made. Multiple law enforcement agencies are conducting investigations related to the escape, which the prison board says has slowed their ability to address these concerns. In other news, an open house for potential new foster parents is set for later in the month. The Chautauqua County Department of Hygiene and Social Services Finding Team will be hosting the open house on Tuesday, July 25th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Park United Methodist Church, located at 25 Maple Avenue in Cassadaga. Virtual sessions are also available. Foster care provides a safe and nurturing home environment for children whose parents are unable to care for them. The ages of foster children range from infancy to adulthood. Now, some may have special medical, physical, and emotional needs. Children may be part of a group of siblings who would benefit most by staying together. The event is free and open to the public. Anyone who is interested in attending or for more information are asked to contact Audra Molier by email or by calling 716-661-8212. Now, switching gears a little bit, we'll get a check of our first weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Andrew Stevenson. And I swear earlier I heard you say an S word kind of rhymes with snow. I hope you're kidding.
Yes, I could put snow in the forecast just to see what everyone thinks. We don't have any snow in the forecast, but be interested to see what everyone thought. We do have some strong storms in the forecast today, though. The NOAA Storm Prediction Center does maintain us under a marginal risk for severe weather day, mainly across the southern tier and northwestern Pennsylvania. A few storms today as a cold front is dragged out across northwestern Pennsylvania. It could contain heavy rain and some strong winds. Again, most of today's showers and storms will be focused across the southern tier and northwestern Pennsylvania, with areas farther north being mainly dry. Now, we do have a risk for severe weather tomorrow, and I'll talk about that in the full forecast coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the almanac. We made it to a high of 80 degrees yesterday, which is our average for this time of year. Our low for the day yesterday was 55 degrees, and the records for today, 97 was the record high set back in 1936. The record low, 39, set back in 1978. So here's your first defense weather forecast. Through the rest of the afternoon out there, mostly cloudy skies with occasional showers and thunderstorms possible. Again, most of those showers and storms will be focused across the southern tier of northwestern Pennsylvania, and a few of those storms could be slow movers, so we could see some heavy rain and gusty winds within those storms. And if we do have some heavy rain within those storms that aren't moving very fast, we could see some localized flooding as well, with a west wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour. And highs today will be a little bit cooler than they were yesterday, in the mid to upper 70s. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you then. As WNY News Now continues, we look at the over $14 million worth of drugs seized in PA over the past few months. And later, police are looking for who stole endangered bird eggs from a New York enclosure. Stay with us, as WNY News Now will be right back.
Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
On Monday, Pennsylvania State Police announced that $14 million worth of outlawed drugs were confiscated through the second quarter of 2023. Over the course of 3 months, officers seized 144 pounds of cocaine, 60 pounds of fentanyl, 164 pounds of methamphetamines, 1,617 pounds of processed marijuana, and 74,074 pills of assorted narcotics, along with a slew of other prohibited drugs throughout Pennsylvania. 1,227 pounds of prescription medication were also properly surrendered during the second quarter through the statewide program titled Prescription Drug Take Back. Dispersed across PA, police stations are offering drop boxes open 24/7 dedicated to the disposal of unused or unwanted medications. A full list of what was collected can be found on our website at WNYNewsNow.com. While the Justice Department reversed course, saying it no longer believes Donald Trump should be entitled to immunity for his response to E.G. Carroll's accusation of sexual assault. The move allows the case to move forward. The change eliminates one legal hurdle in Carroll's 2019 defamation lawsuit against the former president for statements he made. Now, Trump denied her allegations of rape, said he didn't know her, and claimed that she wasn't his type. In a letter to lawyers for Trump and Carroll's DOJ lawyers, said the department has determined that it lacks adequate evidence to conclude the former president was acting within the scope of his employment. That reverses an earlier opinion of the Justice Department under both the Trump and Biden administrations. While a federal manhunt is underway for vandals who took eggs from some very rare birds at a beach in New York, police are offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. Jennifer Burham has more on the threatened species and why protecting them is so crucial.
Piping plovers are small sand-colored shorebirds that nest and feed on the beach.
There's about 8,000 worldwide. We work on the recovery of the Atlantic coast population, where there's only about 2,000.
For years, from the Rockaways in Queens to Montauk on Long Island, sections of the beach have been blocked off, allowing them to nest and raise their young to help preserve the population.
They are part of a whole ecosystem and along the beach, along the coast, the shoreline.
But the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says last month at Far Rockaway Beach, someone damaged protective wire fences around 2 nests and swiped eggs from each.
We have these large cages that we put over the plover nests. We call them exclosures. They're designed to keep predators out, but they're very obvious to vandals and the predators, where the nests are.
These pictures show the damage and footprints in the sand.
That's horrible. I don't know how people can do that.
According to New York City's Parks Department, as of July 6th, there were 17 piping plover pairs with 4 nests, 11 eggs, 5 chicks, and 4 fledglings on Rockaway Beach. During the summer mating season, biologists on Long Island and New York City are asking New Yorkers to help protect the threatened species by following posted rules on the precious shorebirds, giving them space, keeping dogs on a leash, and avoid feeding birds and leaving trash on the beach. In the meantime, the investigation into who stole the eggs continues.
It could be kids, it could be teenagers, it could be adults, and they all have different motives of not being happy with the fencing to collecting them.
Hopefully they do catch the person.
Now the bird is protected as a threatened species. Authorities say anyone caught taking a bird or one of its eggs could face serious penalties, including a $25,000 fine and jail time. Well, after a 4-year battle between 3 of her 4 sons, a Michigan probate jury has ruled which version of Aretha Franklin's will is valid. It is thought that the singer had left no will. However, 2 handwritten documents were discovered among her belongings. A 2010 version in a locked cabinet was more detailed and notarized, while a 2014 version was found in a spiral notebook under her sofa cushions. On Tuesday, the jury ruled the most recent version should stand as the document of record for her estate. Now 2 sons supported that, while 1 pushed for the 2010 version. Her 4th son has been diagnosed with mental illness, and the other sons have agreed to support him. The singer died in 2018 at the age of 76 after suffering from pancreatic cancer. At the time of her death, the estate was valued at $18 million. Well, coming up, one of Charles Manson's followers has been set free from prison. And later, Antarctic ice has been melting. Well, that's according to scientists. But first, we return with a look at our full weather forecast.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Current conditions downtown Jamestown. We're under mostly cloudy skies. Current temperature at the Jamestown Airport 67 degrees. The wind speed is not being recorded right now at the Jamestown Airport, and our dew point is at 66. Well, tomorrow we are once again under an excessive rainfall outlook by the Weather Prediction Center. Marginal risk from our area across western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. What that means is there's a 5% chance that rainfall will exceed flash flood guidance within 25 miles of any location. The slight risk area, which is down to our south and off to our east, that's excessive rainfall with a 10 to 15% chance of exceeding, trying to say that a couple of times, exceeding flash flood guidance. So we are under an excessive rainfall outlook for tomorrow. As well, we are once again under a marginal risk for severe storms tomorrow, and just to our southwest across portions of Pennsylvania and Ohio, they are under a slight risk for severe weather tomorrow. Our risk tomorrow will once again be heavy rain, strong damaging winds, and we will also introduce the chance for some hail tomorrow. And we'll be monitoring this and see if the NOAA Storm Prediction Center does eventually move this slight risk area up into our region. But as of now, they maintain a marginal risk across our area. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. This cold front, as I said yesterday, has stalled out across northwestern Pennsylvania, and it will sit there through the day today, causing chances for showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the southern tier in northwestern Pennsylvania. Low pressure system will move across the area tonight and into tomorrow, and that will push that cold front back up across the region as a warm front tomorrow, and that will bring widespread showers and thunderstorms back across the region through the day tomorrow. So here's the forecast for tonight. Showers and thunderstorms will become more widespread as that warm front lifts back north across the region. It will be a muggy night for sleeping, with lows only in the lower to mid 60s and a southeast wind around 5 miles per hour. And now that 7-day forecast powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, we are stuck in an unsettled pattern. So today that rain focused across the southern tier, widespread rain tomorrow. Friday, just a chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, although most of the day on Friday will be dry. Then heading into the weekend, looks like the weekend will be mainly dry, although we will maintain a couple chances for showers and thunderstorms. And in terms of temperatures, highs will be in the upper 70s, close to 80 through the next 5 days and into early next week.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. And you were telling us about the Northern Lights, and while telling me earlier about it,
yeah,
what can you tell our viewers?
The newest forecast doesn't look like we're going to be able to see those northern lights. Unfortunately, the forecast updated yesterday takes it out of our region. You actually have to go across Canada if you want to see any chance of seeing it. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it. They were forecasting a stronger geomagnetic storm, and it's not going to be as strong as they were forecasting a few days ago, unfortunately.
So unfortunate, but as I say, the news goes on. So now we'll get you some headlines from across the nation. A massive manhunt for a dangerous escapee in California is over with. The arrest of Eric James Abreu. He was taken into custody Monday just after noon, hiding in a creek behind a subdivision. Now Abreu escaped from a hospital on Sunday while in custody for a deadly hostage situation and shootout in April. Lacey Mitri reports his orange jumpsuit gave him away.
He wasn't looking up, he was looking around this way, and he was right there.
From his own backyard, Bill Sanchez saw the murder suspect at the center of a massive manhunt at about noon.
When I looked over the edge right here at the creek, I do it 5 times a day, and there wasn't an orange jumpsuit 2 hours ago, and there was an orange jumpsuit laying right there on the ground. And then I could hear some splashing in the water.
He says he immediately went to call 911.
Oh, straight back in the house. I said, we got the guy. He's got to be right here. We've got him.
Law enforcement showed up to his Rockland home on Zion Court minutes later.
There was probably, what, over 20 guys with guns drawn standing right here on this deck and looking over this fence at the time.
Looking over at Eric Abreu, found in his boxers with the chain around his waist still left over from the restraints he was able to get out of during his escape from Sutter-Roseville Medical Center after 3 yesterday morning. The more than 24-hour search as he roamed the neighborhood had people in the area on edge.
Terrified. So my mom has lived here for 40 years, and there's sheds and things and, vehicles parked and things like that where there's lots of hiding spots.
You can see from above, Antelope Creek, where Abreu was captured, is covered in trees. But ultimately, it was his bright orange jail pants and Sanchez's vigilance.
So, it's over.
That helped lead to his capture.
The whole Placer County is relieved now, so it's a big deal.
Now the Placer County Sheriff's Department is investigating how Abreu escaped the hospital while in custody. He was taken back to the hospital for treatment of additional injuries he sustained while on the run. While one of Charles Manson's followers is out of prison. Leslie Van Houten was released on parole in California on Tuesday. Now Van Houten was 19 years old when she joined Manson's murderous cult. She was convicted in 1971 for a role in the grisly murders of supermarket executive Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary. California's parole board has recommended that she be released several times, but each time the governor's office blocked it, at least until now. The former Manson family member has served 53 years in prison. While sea ice levels in the Antarctic just hit a record low for the month of June. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the levels were 17% below average this year, breaking the previous June record by a large margin. And while those numbers went down, global sea surface temperatures went up, reaching record highs for the periods of May and June this year. Experts say they are worrying trends caused by climate change. Now, scientists are warning of even more marine heat waves with the return of El Nino, a weather pattern that warms surface ocean temperatures. While coming up next, cleanup efforts have begun in the flooded regions in the east.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Residents in parts of Vermont are cleaning up after torrential rains triggered powerful flooding that has caused widespread damage. Dozens were rescued overnight, and now residents are bracing for another round of storms this week. Rachel Mann reports.
Devastating. That's the only way many Barrie residents describe the situation.
Transportation, access to supplies, access to health care, etc. Everything, as far as I can tell, has been disrupted.
Businesses like Next Chapter Books and Rooted Yoga are starting to clean water and sludge out of their spaces.
Out of our product up off the floor, we're hoping to save the bookshelves. We just don't know.
The studio is going to be closed for quite a while, so we have to replace a lot in there, and I'm just clearing everything out right now.
Outside, the Rainbow Rapid Response Team is handing out essentials like water and feminine hygiene products to those who need it.
People are basically mucking out their homes right now. The socks have been coming in handy. No one has clean socks or shoes.
City Manager Nicholas Storelli Castro says floodwaters are going down, though the concern for landslides like this one on Route 62 is still high.
They happen. It is hard to do anything about it. We can take proactive actions if we think there's something imminent, but it's really trying to be proactive and trying to get to people who are trapped.
Even though dozens of people have already been rescued from their homes, he adds they're not out of the woods with more rain expected this week.
Trying to find the positive in all this is that amongst, even in the devastation of this, one of the first messages that were coming in from people is how to help.
People here helping us all night, all morning. Yeah, people have reached out. I think my phone is pinging.
There's a lot of talk about Vermont Strong and the power of community and stuff, but it's really obvious, I think, when you're down here on the ground.
Now, it's really crazy, Andrew, to see how much damage really floodwaters can create.
Well, when you get almost 9 to 10 inches of rain in a span of like 24 to 48 hours, that's going to cause a lot of flooding. There's more rain on the way, too, and those areas do not need any rain.
Definitely not.
And it was a couple weeks ago, maybe last month, when we had that rain and we got like 2 or 3 inches in the span of a couple of hours. Take that, double it, and almost triple it. And that's how much rain parts of Vermont got. Nearly 10 inches of rain, I think, was the highest amount that I saw, which is just crazy when you think about it.
That's like average for a month in some places.
Average for a couple months, and they got it in the span of a day.
I couldn't imagine, but...
Too bad they can't take all that water and then put it across portions of the West where they need the rain, and they're dealing with wildfires out there. They need the rain. Too bad we can't just like push it over there.
We'll just take it and push it somewhere else. But that's all the time that we have for today, everyone. We'll catch you next time, and we're going to get you this live look over Lakeside Park.